Now on KION, a woman now recovering after deputies say a Gonzales man attacked and sexually abused her. Plus, with wet weather here, how law enforcement is gearing up for possible chaos of the roads. And how long is the rain going to last? Our chief meteorologist Dan Cianca times it all out and what you need to know. Also, as we say goodbye to 2022, we're taking a look back at some of the year's biggest international news. KION News Channel 46 starts right now.
Covering the Central Coast, this is KION News Channel 46 at 11 o'clock.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for KION News at 11. I'm Veronica Vinluan. We have a lot of news to get to tonight, but first let's get a quick look at the weather with our chief meteorologist Dan Cianca. We have some rain on the way. Some rain has already come a couple hours ago. What do you got for us, Dan?
Yeah, this storm coming tomorrow is one you're going to want to pay attention to. We've been talking about it for the last week. And, you know, we kind of got spoiled leading up to the holiday. Everything was great here on the West Coast, maybe not so much elsewhere. But now we're paying for it this week with a strong storm system coming in. Now, as we take a live look from Domenico's on the Wharf tonight, things look pretty quiet out there. We've had a round of rain that moved through this evening, mostly just light rain. It wetted the roadways in some instances. And even here in Salinas at the moment, it is still sprinkling just a little bit. But additional rainfall is likely as we head through the overnight hours. We'll continue to see some light showers moving through for the next couple of hours before activity begins to pick up a little bit after midnight tonight, especially in those coastal mountains first. So it's going to be a wet day on Tuesday for us. At the moment, temperatures are pretty mild. We're in the 50s, and we're going to stay that way through the overnight hours. Again, next couple of hours looking at some light showers. The rain really starts to pick up, though, after midnight. It will be heavy at times into tomorrow. We're going to talk about how much rain you're going to see in your neighborhood, plus a look at some of the other hazards with this storm, including the wind threat and the high surf threat. That's all coming up in a bit. Veronica.
Thank you so much, Dan. Much needed rain is coming to the Central Coast this week. KION's Natalie Gutierrez spoke to a local law enforcement bracing for the upcoming rain and potential chaos on the highways.
Central Coast natives Kathleen Johnson and Dina Patton, who now reside in Placerville, had to leave a day early to go home due to the storm.
I'm going to stay an extra day after Christmas and meet a friend, and we got notified this morning via one of the weather sites that the storm was going to come in and the high winds were coming with it, and we're driving this beast. So we thought we'll leave today rather than tomorrow and try to beat the storm.
The storm is expected to bring gusty winds with significant rain in the forecast for the whole Central Coast region, but the most impacts will be in the Big Sur area and Santa Cruz Mountains.
Safely, well, we'll make sure our windshields are properly working. We'll make sure our tires are in good condition. We'll make sure our lights are working.
CHP officer Israel Murillo says this past weekend in Santa Cruz County, there were 10 traffic accidents. Although none were fatal, he says it's vital for people to take precautionary measures while driving in the rain.
When they're driving on the roadways, we ask the community to slow down, watch their speed, give sufficient space, enough space between themselves and other vehicles on the roadway.
Officer Murillo also says that due to the rain, there might be a possibility for more crashes. Phil Crosby is hoping to beat the storm, attempting to drive back home to SoCal. He's specifically avoiding the Big Sur coast.
I'm going to avoid Big Sur because the mudslides is possible, so don't want to get stuck.
The last round of storms saw parts of the Big Sur coast shut down multiple times because of mudslides. In Salinas, Natalie Gutierrez, KION News Channel 46.
And CHP Santa Cruz told KION that they will have more officers on the roads this week because of the rain. A deadly storm is now being blamed for more than 50 deaths, including dozens in western New York. Christian Benavides tells us more.
It is the blizzard of the century.
More than 24 people have died in the pre-Christmas blizzard that pummeled Buffalo, New York. That death toll is expected to climb as first responders find bodies in homes, cars, and snowbanks. The storm dumped nearly 50 inches of snow. Up to a foot of new snow is expected by Tuesday afternoon.
Anyone who declares victory and says it's over, it is way too early to say. It is still a dangerous situation to be out.
President Biden has pledged the federal government's support. The storm that paralyzed Buffalo is part of a larger system that knocked out power to more than 6 million people and snarled air traffic across the country. Right now, thousands of travelers are stranded in airports from coast to coast.
I've had a 5-hour delay, then a cancellation at the end, and then a flight rebooked the next day, which was delayed. And then I had also had to rent a car.
Southwest Airlines apologized Monday after canceling more than 2/3 of its flights and delaying hundreds more. Travelers just want the nightmare to be over.
The fact that they said the flight is canceled and we don't have any association with any of the airlines, so I'm like, so you just leaving everybody out to dry.
As the frustration piles up, so does the luggage.
I'm picking up my sister's luggage, and they don't know nothing. They just told me I got to look for it. Yeah. So it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
It could be days before the travel chaos is sorted out. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
And Southwest Airlines has already canceled more than 2,400 flights tomorrow, which is roughly 60% of its flight schedule. A Gonzales man is off the streets after being suspected of attempted murder and sexual assault, according to the Monterey County Sheriff's Office. The victim was found last Monday night on the 29,000th block of Spence Road in an unincorporated area of Salinas. A truck driver found her suffering from a severe sexual assault. She also lost so much blood that she needed surgery. Deputies say after days of investigating, they were able to connect the crime to 43-year-old Jesus Urib of Gonzales. He's now booked into Monterey County Jail for attempted murder and kidnapping with intent to commit rape, among other charges. Tonight, we're learning more about a Christmas Day fire that killed a Salinas woman. The fire started around 12:15 Sunday morning, and CHP says the woman was driving northbound on Davis Road when she noticed smoke coming from the engine compartment and flames were seen through the vehicle floorboard. The woman pulled the car over as it began to fill with smoke. Officers say she told her husband, who was sitting in the passenger seat, to save her 1-month-old baby in the back seat. Both he and the baby escaped, but the woman didn't get out of the car in time. The husband suffered smoke inhalation while the baby had no visible injuries. The San Benito County Sheriff's Office is searching for a man who they say ran over one of their sergeants. Deputies tried to pull over Daniel Diaz Lopez for a traffic stop. Instead, Lopez drove away, hitting the sergeant. Lopez was chased by deputies, but he was able to get away. If you have any idea where Lopez might be, you're asked to contact the San Benito Sheriff's Office. President Biden just signed the $858 billion National Defense Authorization Act over the weekend. This spending bill will give service members a pay raise and fund additional support Ukraine and Taiwan. It also ends the U.S. military's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. The Senate passed the act last week with bipartisan support, and the week before, the measure passed in the House. This bill is intended to address the effects of inflation and accelerate the implementation of the National Defense Strategy. The number of asylum seekers in the U.S. has hit an all-time record with 1.6 million asylum applications pending in U.S. immigration courts. The asylum seekers are from over 200 different countries and speak over 400 different languages. The leading countries of origin include Guatemala, Venezuela, Cuba, and Brazil. Average wait time for an asylum hearing is now more than 4 years. Russia's invasion of Ukraine topped world headlines in 2022, and the world said goodbye to Britain's Queen Elizabeth. Ian Lee takes a look back at the international stories that shaped our world this year.
War engulfed Eastern Europe when Russia invaded Ukraine in February. Millions of refugees fled their homes, while the fighting killed tens of thousands on both sides, including thousands of Ukrainian civilians. The conflict also triggered an energy crisis because of the world's dependence on Russia's oil and gas. Russia released American basketball star Brittany Griner in a high-stakes prisoner swap with the U.S. She was serving 9 years for bringing cannabis oil into the country, but the White House released Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout from a U.S. prison in exchange for her freedom. A U.S. drone strike in Afghanistan killed al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri, who had taken over after the killing of Osama bin Laden.
Justice has been delivered.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un vowed to build the world's most powerful nuclear force as the country tested an unprecedented number of missiles, heightening tensions on the Korean peninsula. Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassinated during a political speech. Police arrested the suspected shooter on the spot, who used a homemade gun in the killing. The Beijing Olympics went ahead, but with all the masks and COVID testing, it was far from the usual Winter Games. Later in the year, China lifted its most severe restrictions after its zero COVID strategy led to landmark protests in major cities. With tensions rising in the Holy Land, 2022 proved to be one of the deadliest years for Palestinians in the West Bank. Around 150 Palestinians were killed, along with more than 24 Israelis. An Israeli soldier killed American journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, prompting the FBI to open an investigation. In Iran, the death of a young woman in custody for breaking the country's dress code led to a deadly government crackdown on protesters. Queen Elizabeth celebrated 70 years on the British throne in June and died 3 months later. The monarch's funeral drew foreign leaders from around the world. Political turmoil in the UK led to a string of new prime ministers, which ushered in Britain's first leader of color, Rishi Sunak. Sunak joined President Biden and other world leaders in Egypt for the COP27 climate conference in November, where countries agreed to create a fund to support nations most vulnerable to climate disasters. And Mother Nature put on quite a show in 2022. The most powerful volcano in 140 years erupted off the coast of Tonga, while the land of fire and ice drew thousands of tourists as lava gushed from one of Iceland's 32 volcanoes. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Well, 2022 also brought devastating floods to Pakistan, putting a third of the country underwater. It also created $15 billion worth of damage. While the holidays are a wonderful time of the year, it's not the same for millions of others. Coming up, how seasonal affective disorder impacts Americans and what doctors recommend to help treat it. Plus, pump pains and high inflation. That's some of this year's biggest business headlines. We wrap up some of 2022's biggest news. Taking a live look right now of our Mount Toro camera, looking over the city of Salinas. Beautiful lights illuminating the sky and showing the clouds up above. We'll have your weather authority forecast and more with our chief meteorologist, Dan Cianca, in just a little bit. We'll see you right back here after the break.
Get the app, get the alert, stay informed on the stories important to you with the KION News app.
It's hard to explain what depression feels like, but I can tell you what it feels like when someone offers help. Every plan through Covered California is comprehensive with mental health coverage and financial help for people who need it. Enroll by December 31st.
At Chevy, the holidays mean going places and doing things you love to do with friends and family. Visit your local Chevy dealer, and when you find your red tag, you find your deal. Then make the most of your time with the people who matter most. Find new moments, find new roads. Well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2022 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab pickups, or find your red tag and get $2,500 total cash allowance on this Silverado with a 2.7-liter engine. See your local Chevy dealer today.
Adventure awaits at the Best RV Center in Turlock. Voted #1 selling RV dealer in California, Best RV offers a huge selection of new and used RVs at the lowest prices with no hidden fees. From Class A, B, and C to travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and more, Best RV is committed to getting your dreams on the road. Don't miss out on the biggest discounts of the year with Best RV's January Blowout Sales event. For the best selection on the best prices on all current inventory, visit bestrv.com today.
Associated Services, you're always comfortable with us.
Regardless of the weather outside, Associated Services will keep your home comfortable year-round. Plus, we maintain all makes and models of new heating or air conditioning units with the best quality service. With over 37 years experience.
Beyond compare. Associated Services, you're always comfortable with us.
The second you have a kid, it's like your heart is living outside of your body. That's why it's so important for us to have health insurance. And now we can afford it. With financial help through Covered California, we pay way less than we ever thought we would. Enroll by December 31st.
Now at your weather authority forecast with our chief meteorologist, Dan Cianca. We have rain coming on the way. What do we need to know here on the Central Coast, Dan?
Well, you need to know that tomorrow we will have conditions that could be hazardous to your health. We have potential for flooding. We have high surf coming in. We have strong gusty winds out there as well. And all of those things could lead to problems here across the Central Coast. So let's break down some of the alerts in place. We're going to start with a flood watch that goes through most of the day tomorrow for all coastal areas and coastal mountains of Monterey and Santa Cruz counties. Now, we have the potential, well, the likelihood anyway, of some heavy rain during the day tomorrow, especially in the coastal mountains. And heavy rain can lead to flooding, usually in the form of street flooding, flooding of poor drainage areas, the potential for flash flooding in our burn scars with debris flows. That's all a possibility tomorrow. So something to keep in mind. Also, small streams are going to see a lot of water in them as well. And the rivers, for the most part, not expecting any major issues. The San Lorenzo is going to get high, and the Big Sur River will likely get high as well, but I'm not seeing any major flooding issues with those two streams at the moment. Of course, we'll be watching all of those gauges as we head through the day tomorrow. So heavy rain going to be a concern tomorrow, mostly between around 6 a.m. and around 3 p.m. for most locations. That may vary a little bit depending on your specific location, but that's generally the window we're looking at. Wind alerts, we have a wind advisory in place for the Santa Cruz Mountains. Gusty winds expected during the morning hours before the cold front passes. Could gust up to 40, maybe 50 miles per hour over some of the higher elevations. There's potential obviously for trees down, or at least tree limbs down, which could lead to power outages, blocked roadways, and or property damage. So something to keep in mind. We'll also have wind elsewhere in the viewing area. These will be the areas that see the strongest winds, but also the Monterey coast will see some wind as well. High surf advisory, that goes into place tomorrow morning and then lasts all the way through Wednesday morning. Some big swells coming in, breakers of 20 to 25 feet. That's quite a few me stacked on top of me as far as height is concerned. That's going to make conditions dangerous on the beaches, the rocks, the jetties. Please be careful out there tomorrow. You get swept into the water, it's hard to come back sometimes. Also, out over the water, gale warnings in place. The combination of the high surf and the wind will cause conditions, bless you, to be hazardous for mariners. So we take a look at our bigger picture. This was the warm front that came through. It looked pretty wild out there with a lot of the colors there, but ultimately it was just light rain, and that's what we expected with it. However, the cold front is still back here, and then we have this huge plume of moisture that'll be overriding it throughout the day tomorrow. And that's really going to keep things going for a good long while. I mean, thinking most areas are going to get about 9 hours to 12 hours of rain tomorrow, starting in the early morning hours and lasting through the mid-afternoon. And in the coastal mountains, that majority of that time is going to be moderate to heavy rain. So we're talking rainfall rates anywhere between 1/3 of an inch to 1/2 an inch per hour. So that means we could see some pretty hefty totals before all is said and done. We can track this moisture source all the way across the Pacific. This is an atmospheric river. They've started categorizing these on a scale from 1 to 5, and in our local area, some of the indicators are a 3. So this is not the worst case scenario, but certainly something to be paying attention to with the potential for some heavy rainfall. As for that rainfall, let's talk about when it initiates. Again, we've had some light showers overnight, and it'll pick up a little bit after midnight. But as I mentioned, I think the bigger rain will start around 6 a.m. for most locations around the bay, and then really widen up here across the Monterey Bay area between 6 and 9 a.m., and then just kind of persist as we head through noon. All the while, gusty winds out of the south, they'll start to die down afternoon, and then as we head into the mid-afternoon hours, things start to wind down from north to south. However, that rain likely continuing into the evening for some areas. Late evening hours, I think we'll finally be done with the precipitation. But you can see it's pretty easy to imagine a good 12-hour swath of rain for many locations out there tomorrow. That could lead to some heavy totals, obviously. So let's talk about what the computer model is showing. This is just the general accumulation from the model, showing a couple inches for cities around the bay and up to a couple inches, and in the mountains a little bit more than that. 3 to 5 inches. Here are my predictions for precipitation with this event. Santa Lucia Range and Big Sur Coast, 3 to 7 inches. The Santa Cruz Mountains, 3 to 6 inches. The Santa Cruz Coast, so this is that whole swath of humanity from Watsonville to Santa Cruz, 1.5 to 3 inches. The Monterey to Salinas corridor, 1 inch to 2.5. The inland valleys in the north, 1 inch to 2.5 inches. And our inland valleys in the south, 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. So, I mean, obviously we could have worse systems, but this is certainly one that we need to pay attention to. It's going to cause some issues certainly during the day tomorrow. I'm going to go through your temperature forecast pretty quickly. It's going to be a cool day tomorrow, but it could be colder, I suppose. Overnight tonight, temperatures mild, upper 40s to 50s for lows, highs in mid to upper 50s for the most part for tomorrow afternoon. We may get as warm as 60 tomorrow. Salinas, Hollister, Marina, right around 60. Elsewhere, upper 50s. Over to the Monterey Peninsula, seeing highs in the upper 50s to low 60s, lows in the 50s overnight. And then farther south, we will see lows in the 40s to 50s and highs in the upper 50s to around 60. Now, this first system is just one of many. It will likely be the strongest and wettest, but with that said, while we get a break on Wednesday, another system comes in Thursday early in the day, bringing some light to moderate rain, an additional transitional system behind it on Friday could do the same, light to moderate. And then a stronger system, it looks like, on Saturday with rain and wind, right as we finish off 2022. Right now, New Year's Day looking dry, but by midnight on New Year's Eve, we could still be looking at some precipitation, something we're watching. Additional rain possible next week. Inland areas also a break on Wednesday, couple of systems Thursday, Friday, a stronger system on New Year's Eve, all the while cool and breezy conditions. Jeronica.
Thank you so much for that, Dan. We have rain on the way. Get ready for it. The largest work stoppage at a U.S. institution has come to an end. University of California workers ratified votes and are expected to return to work in January after the winter break. Some 48,000 academic workers participated. In a statement from the UC system, the executive director of system-wide labor relations said, quote, "Today's ratification demonstrates yet again the university's strong commitment to providing every one of our hardworking employees with competitive compensation and benefit packages that honor their many contributions to our institution, to our community, and to the state of California." These new contracts go into effect immediately and will be in place until May 2025. Nearly 40% of Americans say their mood declines in the winter, and a quarter report feeling depressed, according to a recent American Psychiatric Association poll. These symptoms of seasonal affective disorder, which is closely associated with depression. Patients with the disorder can feel fatigued or less motivated, and they may not be able to enjoy their normal activities. One treatment involves bright light therapy, which has done wonders for patients who experience this winter downturn. In a combination with antidepressants, patients are able to get through these winter blues. And we'll be right back after the break.
Get the app, get the alert, know the current weather conditions with the KION Weather Authority app.
Mr. Box, I had this idea.
Is it offering people curly fries, tiny tacos, and my other fan favorites in one box for just $10? Great idea, Devin. Run with it.
Well.
A $10 fan faves box is perfect for sharing.
Tonight, I'm talking to the one, the only, Alicia Keys. It is the greatest interview in the history of broadcast television. Tonight.
Life is uncertain. Everyday pressures can feel overwhelming. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
We're the front line of defending people's constitutional rights.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Get the app, get the alert, know about severe weather in your area with the KION Weather Authority app.
Mr. Box, I had this idea.
Is it offering people curly fries, tiny tacos, and my other fan favorites in one box for just $10? Great idea, Devin. Run with it.
Well.
A $10 fan faves box is perfect for sharing.
Show us what makes the Central Coast a great place to live. Scan the code to share pictures or video with us. We'll feature them here and on our website. Crazy weather, areas you love, your favorite food, even your dog or cat. Scan to share and upload now.
Discounts and deals help people spend more this holiday season. MasterCard reported holiday retail sales in the U.S. skyrocketed over 7.5% compared to last year. The company looked at in-store sales and online sales from November 1st to Christmas Eve. The increase is because of extreme discounts from retailers. This led to consumers hunting for the best deals and making trade-offs compared to the same period last year. Black Friday was still the top day for shopping, with sales up more than 12% from last year. Inflation brought new problems to American households in 2022, and the Federal Reserve fought back with higher interest rates. Plus, the tech industry faced mass layoffs. Michael George breaks down all the major news in business this year.
The war in Ukraine triggered shockwaves in the oil market. Prices soared, bringing windfall profits to oil companies, but pain to consumers.
I pay $175 to fill up this car.
Along with higher prices at the pump, Americans faced price hikes for food, electricity, and rent. The Federal Reserve stepped in to fight inflation with higher interest rates, and Wall Street dipped into a bear market for the first time since 2020.
Down big. It's amazing. Where I was 2 years ago, it's incomparable to where I am today.
The unemployment rate ended the year at 3.7%, close to a 53-year low. But the tech industry began mass layoffs. Amazon and Meta both cut thousands of jobs.
I pulled out my phone, couldn't log into work chat, couldn't log into our internal sites.
The industry's biggest dust-up was at Twitter. After Elon Musk bought the social media company for $44 billion, he cut nearly half the workforce, and hate speech swamped the platform.
I think it's just turned into this free-for-all for misinformation.
The collapse of the $32 billion FTX cryptocurrency exchange shook financial circles and left investors in the cold.
I am probably never going to trust any exchange anymore. I'm only going to keep money in my hard wallet.
The company's CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, was arrested in the Bahamas and charged with multiple financial crimes.
This is one of the biggest financial frauds in American history.
The government airlifted baby formula from Europe after a factory shutdown led to a severe shortage.
I look at the bottle that he didn't quite finish, and I think, should I save that? Will he have enough for the morning?
Workers launched unionizing campaigns at corporate giants, including Starbucks, Apple, and Amazon.
Today, the people have spoken, and the people wanted a union.
President Biden signed a bill to prevent railroad workers from going on strike just before the holiday season.
Rail shutdown would have devastated our economy.
120.
Christie's dropped the hammer on the biggest sale in auction history. The private collection of Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen raked in $1.5 billion.
Thank you.
And the founder of Patagonia gave away his $3 billion company, transferring ownership to a trust, a nonprofit that will fund environmental protection.
Not a lot of people understand how serious we are about saving this planet. I'm dead serious.
The founder said he hopes to model a new version of capitalism. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
It's been a roller coaster of a year in the economy. We'll see you right after the break.
For local stories that matter, watch KION News Channel 46.
Hi, welcome to Toyotathon.
Now the holidays are over, I'm focused on getting into great shape and getting a great Toyota.
We've got exciting models to choose from, like Camry, RAV4, Corolla, and more.
Maybe I'll just stick with the RAV4.
Excellent choice.
Fits my active lifestyle.
Cheat day?
Mm-hmm.
Secure your delivery and low financing rate on RAV4, Camry, and Highlander. Or get a great lease on RAV4 and Camry for just $389 a month.
Come in today.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Baker Brothers Appliance and Furniture in Watsonville is your local headquarters for top quality appliances. Check out this Maytag washer and dryer, 5.2 cubic foot, and this electric dryer, 7.4 cubic foot, sensor dry cycle, Energy Star models. How about this Whirlpool gas slide-in range, 5 cubic foot, frozen bake technology, and 2 speed heat burners. Or this Whirlpool gas freestanding range, 6 cubic foot gas double oven, frozen bake technology, and easy to lift. Shop Baker Brothers Appliance and Furniture today, serving the entire Central Coast.
Aren't you tired of dealing with traffic? Want more time to read a book, listen to your podcast, or simply avoid the frustration of other drivers? Get on the bus and avoid it all. Paracruz and Liftline are here to welcome you. Seniors and people with disabilities in Santa Cruz County. In need of transportation services? Call Liftline at 831-688-9663 or Metro Paracruz at 831-425-4664. We are ready to be your personal drive to and from appointments.
Adventure awaits at the Best RV Center in Turlock. Voted #1 selling RV dealer in California, Best RV offers a huge selection of new and used RVs at the lowest prices with no hidden fees. From Class A, B, and C to travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and more, Best RV is committed to getting your dreams on the road. Don't miss out on the biggest discounts of the year with Best RV's January Blowout Sales event. For the best selection on the best prices on all current inventory, visit bestrv.com today.
Let's talk about moving to electric. At Seaside Volkswagen, the Volkswagen ID4 SUV is truly something to behold. On the outside, it's a striking presence on the road. On the inside, there's plenty of room with a spacious and comfortable cabin with plenty of features. And best of all, it comes loaded with value. Order your ID4 SUV today at Seaside Volkswagen, located in the Seaside Auto Center.
A one-of-a-kind vehicle is up for grabs for car enthusiasts, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Bugatti released photos of the KION profile today, which will be the company's last purely gas-powered supercar. The car has a 16-cylinder engine and can reach 236 miles per hour. RM Sotheby's is auctioning the vehicle off, but hasn't clarified any estimated value. A competitor company named Broad Arrow says the car is worth up to roughly $8 million. An auction is scheduled for February 2023 in Paris. And Christmas weekend always brings a lot of big movies, and this year was no exception. David Daniel has your box office breakdown.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is up to $426 million in domestic ticket sales after a fifth-place weekend worth $3 million. $3.5 million put Babylon in fourth place in its first weekend in theaters. Whitney Houston, I Wanna Dance with Somebody debuted at number 3 on the chart, grossing $5.3 million.
This is a person party. That's your party.
So this is where dignity goes to die.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was the top new movie in theaters, lapping up $11.4 million in its opening weekend.
So what does her heartbeat sound like?
Mighty.
Avatar: The Way of Water soared to victory for the second straight weekend, taking in an estimated $56 million for a 10-day domestic total of $254 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Plenty of great movies coming up. Well, don't go to bed yet. We'll show you the animals in Ontario, Canada, enjoying the area's winter wonderland.
Plus, one last check of the weather. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us.
The Central Coast CW is social. Like the Central Coast CW on Facebook.
The holidays are for making memories, and you can count on Honda to help you make them. Whether it's in a capable Ridgeline, adventurous CRV, a rugged Passport, or a dynamic Pilot, start making memories of your own with a new Honda during Happy Honda Days. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
It's go time, California. The year-end sell-a-thon is going on now. Inventory is here now and moving fast, so it's go time. Get 1.9% APR plus 1,000 bonus cash on a 2022 Ford F-150 and Explorer. This is your last chance for a great deal, so that means it's go time. Go to the year-end sell-a-thon at your California Ford dealers today. Now, during the year-end sell-a-thon, lease a 2022 Ford Explorer for just $419 a month. Hurry, it all ends soon.
You. Y-O.
You. 3 little letters to make a very small word that means so many things.
Because no you is ever one single thing.
You. If put at the start.
Starts to change everything.
To begin a sentence, begin with
you. Kind of makes you wonder how big you
can become when you
comes first.
When severe weather strikes.
An interesting fact about Fiona, it made landfall in Nova Scotia yesterday. On the Bay, 58.
You can trust the KION weather team to keep you informed.
Alerting you to dangerous conditions.
Yesterday in Capitola, the Santa Cruz Harbor Master says boats tend to come loose in extreme.
KION News Channel 46. Severe weather first.
Finally tonight at 11, it's a winter wonderland for people and animals in Ontario, Canada. Check it out. Deer were spotted crossing the roads, jumping neck deep into the snow, practically disappearing. Probably a little scary for them. And the same goes for this Springer Spaniel dog fetching a stick. This good dog was practically swimming to get back to its owner. Look at him, struggling a little bit.
Prancing, puppies.
But wagging its tail, so happy.
You know, for the dog, it's not a big deal. The dog probably gets to go inside.